Hey Freedom Lovers, this is Dr. Peterson Pierre with America's Frontline Doctors bringing you today's Daily Dose. So Dr. Ethan Haim is the courageous whistleblower who, through reporter Christopher Rufo, revealed that Texas Children's Hospital, in Rufo's words, quote, secretly continued to perform transgender medical interventions, including the use of implantable puberty blockers on minor children, end quote, after it had publicly announced that it would no longer do so. If you need any more evidence that the Biden administration is controlled by fanatical transgender ideologues, the Department of Justice's prosecution of Dr. Haim provides it. The DOJ's indictment of Dr. Haim has now been made public. The indictment charges Dr. Haim with 4 counts of violating the patient privacy provisions of HIPAA. And it exposes Dr. Haim to total penalties of up to 10 years in prison and up to $250,000 in fines. So here are some observations. If a whistleblower did what Dr. Haim is alleged to have done to expose, let's say, that a hospital had committed racial discrimination or Medicaid fraud, it is unfathomable that the DOJ would threaten the whistleblower with a life-destroying criminal prosecution. The only reason that Dr. Haim is being targeted is that he has run afoul of the transgender ideology that dominates the Biden administration. Without any supporting allegations, the indictment contends that Dr. Haim acted with malicious intent and sought to cause malicious harm to the hospital's physicians and patients. I'm not aware of an iota of evidence that would suggest that Dr. Haim acted with malice. In his own words, quote, I knew that it was my moral responsibility to expose what was happening to these children, end quote. Yes, there are some doctors who still abide by the Hippocratic Oath, who still have ethics and moral conviction to do what's right, even if it could cost them their job, and in Dr. Haim's case, his freedom. Why is the DOJ mistreating a good faith whistleblower as a malicious actor? The obvious answer is that it wants to threaten him with the most severe penalties under HIPAA, which apply if an, quote, offense is committed with intent to use individually identifiable health information for malicious harm, end quote. 3 of DOJ's 4 charges against Dr. Haim rely on this absurd claim of malice. Now, contrary to many public reports, the DOJ does not allege that Dr. Haim disclosed any patient's private medical records, what HIPAA calls, quote, individually identifiable health information, end quote. It alleges instead that he unlawfully obtained such information. DOJ seems happy, however, to propagate the false but politically more appealing notion that Dr. Haim disclosed private patient information. However, and this is the kicker, even the release of unredacted information would not necessarily have violated HIPAA, which allows protected health information to be disclosed if it's used to stop a serious and imminent threat to health or safety. And I would argue that performing illegal, permanent mutilating surgeries on minors who are incapable of giving informed consent falls into this category. In an op-ed with the Washington Post last week, Attorney General Merrick Garland properly condemned, quote, heinous threats of violence, end quote, against DOJ officials and, quote, conspiracy theories crafted and spread for the purpose of undermining public trust in the judicial process itself, end quote. But he also claimed that the DOJ, quote, makes decisions about criminal investigations based only on the facts and the law, end quote. Well, that's a joke, because DOJ's prosecution of Dr. Haim powerfully rebuts Garland's claim. Every day that passes before Garland orders the indictment to be withdrawn is simply an outrage. Ladies and gentlemen, only the truth will set you free. Stay tuned for the next Daily Dose.